Hi, my name is Dr. Catherine Gardner, and I'm a soprano teacher and researcher at East Carolina University in North Carolina. When I was pregnant with my daughter, I began to look for information about how my pregnancy might impact my singing, not only physically, but also emotionally, career-wise, and my sense of self as a performer. I found out very quickly, however, that this subject is under-researched, especially the elements of emotional and social impacts. And so I decided to focus my dissertation on the experience of pregnancy for the classical singer. I ended up surveying 444 women from around the world, and I also conducted in-depth interviews with pregnant classical singers. So today I'd like to share some of my findings with you. I asked my survey participants several questions about a wide range of physical impacts, but what I'm sharing today is what women said about breathing, singing, and pregnancy. Not surprisingly, changes in function of breath and support was a common experience among the women I surveyed, especially as they got to the third trimester. So 87% of women noticed difficulty sustaining long phrases. 84% found coloratura passages more challenging than pre-pregnancy, and 93% of women surveyed had difficulty achieving depth in inhalation during the third trimester. On the positive side, however, 75% of women felt that they gained a deeper understanding of appoggio while pregnant. One woman shared, "I learned how to breathe from being pregnant. It changed my concept of breath control." Having to navigate around a growing fetus actually provided the women I studied with more technical tools to sing successfully, even after pregnancy. One woman wrote, "I still use the feelings and awareness I gained during pregnancy in my singing today." The emotional impact of pregnancy for the classical singer has not been explored, and yet, as singers, we know that our emotions are integral to a successful performance. We also know that pregnancy is a time of increased emotional changes, both hormonally and also because of the major life changes that occur with a new baby. 70% of the women I surveyed found that the emotional changes they experienced during pregnancy not only affected their daily lives, but also impacted their interpretation and emotional connection to the repertoire they performed. 71% of the women I studied also experienced a reordering of priorities, which impacted their performing. 50% of them shared that pregnancy improved their attitude towards rejection and competition. One woman wrote, "Regardless of how it impacted my technique, becoming pregnant gave me something else that I cared even more deeply about. Suddenly, rejection or knowing I hadn't sung my best in an audition didn't matter nearly as much as it had before becoming pregnant." 42% of women felt that their performance anxiety improved during pregnancy. So these are just a few examples which show that the emotional impact of pregnancy on the classical singer is significant and deserves further study. So I was also curious about how pregnancy would impact the careers of the women I studied. So first of all, I asked women whether they felt supported in their wish to continue singing while pregnant, if they did. And happily, 87% felt fully supported by their partner. However, for those who had agents, only 14% felt supported by their agent. One woman shared, "My agent did not want to tell people I was pregnant. In the end, her fears were founded as I was asked to step out of a role." 68% of women surveyed felt that pregnancy had a positive impact on their singing. In other words, they felt that the experience of pregnancy made them better singers. But when I asked about how pregnancy impacted their careers, only 27% of women surveyed felt that pregnancy positively impacted their careers. That's a huge discrepancy. So there's so much more to discuss here, and I'm hoping that this presentation can just be the beginning of a bigger discussion we can all have regarding classical singers and pregnancy. If you're interested in my work, please check out my website, singingfor2.com. And if you are a performing mom, please go to my website and fill out my newest survey, which involves classical singers juggling motherhood and the demands of performing. Thanks so much for listening.